Welcome back to the Dopa Show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer, and this is my sidekick, Sasha. I spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but have been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the dumb stuff I did to get put in prison. I've also got a lot of stories about the crazy stuff that actually happened when I was in prison. And, God forbid, you end up in prison. You want to make some of the same mistakes I made. So, I'm having one of my insomnia fits, a few hours of sleep. I'm required 4 medications to sleep 6 hours a night. I have 3. If I don't have all 4, I don't sleep, but for 2-3 hours max, and I wake up 4 times during that. So, a little bit tired, very tired. So some of my wording might be a little different. Might be a little off. So I apologize for that ahead of time. Anyways, so my first guest that I will be having on here will be Pinto. And those y'all who've been here for a long time, I've been talking about him since the very beginning. Oh my Lord. Man, I miss my fat buddy. I love that fat mother. I mean, seriously. I love Pinto. That's my brother right there. Seriously. He is my brother. Like, seriously, brother don't come in blood. You know what I mean? He's my fat Puerto Rican brother. I love the dude. And he's a good dude. His wife's wearing a ring. They got married in the visiting room. They allowed that in the prison. The ring she wears came from my mom's store. He was a ticket man, making money off gambling. And he made enough money off doing that. He gave me some mackerel to get him a ring for his wife. He hustled like a mother to get those mackerel, a lot of mackerel, get you a good, nice gold ring. But anyway, yeah, they got married. That ring she got came from my mom's store. It's cool to say, cool to think. And I ain't talked to him in a minute because I had to cut all contact with feelings off because some stuff happened. In a few years, y'all gonna learn. Y'all think I'm running out of stories? Y'all think when I first got out of prison, I didn't do some gangster stuff? I did some stupid, ignorant stuff. And Casey kind of reeled me in. She kind of pulled me back. She don't drink. She doesn't smoke cigarettes anymore. Doesn't do drugs. She shops. Yeah, she shops. That's her bad habit. Yep. Goodwill, online. Yeah. Last time we was in, I think it was Goodwill somewhere. Got me going with her. I hate going in there. I just don't like to shop. It's nothing against the Goodwill. I just don't like to shop anywhere. Take me anywhere. Beverly, I want to get out too. And she's like, "Oh my God, look at this!" I'm like, "What is it?" "I don't know, but I want it." I said, "If you don't know what something is, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need that. You don't. That's on principle." We got a clothing store with the clothes. She gets good deals and she gets nice stuff from there. But man, she got enough clothes she couldn't mix and match outfits probably for the rest of her life that she's got. Same my mom. My mom does the same thing. But anyway, I don't know how I got on that topic. But anyway, Pinto, my buddy, I called him last night. He's happy to hear from him, man. And we talked about James. James talks like Charlie Murphy. You know how Charlie Murphy talks, like he's on go, like he did him a big old line of blow. Well, but he really didn't. That's just how a jaw is. That's how James talks. James talks like this. His upper lip is locked, and he's always happy. And James and Pinto will go at it, man. They go at it. They love each other like brothers, but man, they prank each other. Everything else. Oh man, they prank each other to no end. James one time offended Pinto. It was in a TV room, and there was that sumo wrestler that was ice skating, doing like the figurative ice skating, like in his big, sumo wrestlers wear those diapers. He goes, "Hey, Pinto, you on the TV?" "All right, I got you, man, I got you." Pinto's mad about that. James, got to laugh at him. Well, Pinto wrote a little letter to medical. And when you get sent to medical, a lot of times it's just for standard stuff. Your name's on what's called a call-out sheet, alphabetical sheet that tells you where you're supposed to go day by day. And James just saw he had a medical appointment. He got a bad hip anyway. He walks like he got a bad hip. He walks, he kind of waddles a little bit. He's got a real bad hip. He couldn't tell he's hurting though. He's always smiling. That lip going. But anyway, He takes himself down to medical, and Pinto gathers up and lets us all know. He wrote a letter to medical saying, my partner is very large and I'm having rectal bleeding. I need to be seen immediately. So that's what James was going to walk into, was a doctor asking him about his bleeding from his large partner. Yeah. So James gets back, smiling, waddling in. Pinto goes, how's your doctor's appointment, James? He's got a few of us gathered in there. He's like, oh, it's good, it's good. I said, everything's all right, nothing wrong with you? Oh, everything's good with me. I'm good, I'm good. I said, how's your anal bleeding doing? And he goes, you gone too far this time, Pinto. You gone too far. And he takes his cane and he waddles on off. But they had all kinds of little back and forth like that. Hard to tell. But anyway, there was something funny today. Man, it ain't politically correct. I don't know if I can say it. But Pinto, shoot, he's messing with James. He's messing with him. He asked him if he's married today. And he said, you ever find your woman, James? He said, no, I ain't found one yet. And Pinto was telling me his story. I had to tell it because it's funny. He said, no, I ain't found a woman yet. And he said they were talking on the phone. After I talked to Pinto, he had to call James because we were laughing about all the stuff they used to get into. Their little tiffs they have. And he said, you ain't got married yet? No. He said, I knew the first time I seen you, just like a dad knows when his son is gay. I knew it, man. I'm happy for you. Live your life. But he said James called him every type of greasy mother. They told him, if you Pinto, you fat son of, and everything else. That's how they go back and forth. Pinto and me go back and forth. Man, I've got some stories. When we get together, we'll probably end up fighting mid-video. I mean, it ain't mean or nothing, but that's just what happened. Now, I'd be sitting there reading a book. Now, it's a dormitory setting. He'd walk up and he'd slap me on the arm or slap my book, slap me in the back of the head, slap me in the back of my head. Anybody else slap me in the back of my head, their head would be going through a window. Only he could come up and do some stupid stuff like that. Come slap me. Man, I say, Pinto, leave me alone. Now, he got down in weight. He was down like 230, 240 at one point, but he got back up like 320 at one point. Big man, okay? Good bit bigger than me, okay? And he smacked my book out of my hand and he just jumped on me. I'm sitting in a chair. I'm like, end up falling down, get back up. The same thing every time I try to do. Get double underhooks with my shoulders under his armpits, so his arm like this, and put my forehead on his chin. So had him like this, and I'd lock my hands, the double underhooks, I'd lock them so my shoulders are under his armpits, and I'd lock my hands inside of the bunk. See, the top bunk has a little ledge, and I'd lock my hands like this and use my head to help lift him up. That way he couldn't put any weight on me. And I threw a couple knees. I figured he's a big boy. He's got some cushion, But apparently, no matter if you got some cushion or not, there's certain places you just don't grow meat on. And he says I cracked one of his ribs one time. I don't know if he's trying to make me feel bad or what. He was talking to me today about me hurting that boy Pimpson, the son of a pimp. My last week in prison, Pimpson hurt his back, and then he started falling out in the middle of the compound saying, I'm going to sue him. And I'm like, oh, God. I was like, Mom, I said, I got to do something. He said he ain't going to. Here's what we got to do. You got to send this girl a ring. I got to have some kind of insurance. And every day, I was like, oh, Lord. And then there's this guy, this big old jack mother, who I know from my one buddy, Fox, that this guy was a paid informant. Because Fox came back from the lieutenant's office one day all messed up, and he said, they told me they'd give me, I can't remember, it was like $100 a month if I would tell so many things a month, and then I'd get more phone calls and all this other type of stuff. And he's like, I don't know why y'all asked me this. No. They said, and they named this big muscled up mother. They said, well, he said you'd be good for this. They put him out there last Friday. He came right back and told me, and I was like, oh, Lord. I remember that all the rest of the years. But my last week, that big old muscled up mother kept coming around. Oh, man. Asking, you know you hurt that boy. You know you hurt that boy. He always had this stupid grin. Got way more phone minutes than made sense. You get 300 minutes a month in the federal system, where I was at anyway. I'm sure place to place it can vary, but 300 minutes, that's 10 minutes a day. He was on that phone way more than 10 minutes a day. I think he had some type of deal worked out with him. I'd sit there mad because I had to budget my minutes between my hussy ex-girlfriend, no good, dirty hussy, and my mom. 5 minutes apiece. 5 minutes ain't really enough to talk about nothing. And I'm sitting here watching him talking to no end every day, and I'm like, I remember what Fox had told me, and I get mad about it. But yeah, I'm lucky I got out of there at them. But anyway, Pinto, let me give you a little bit more background on him. He was 23 years old. He owned like a restaurant, 3 houses. I had to confirm. It's something. Owned a bunch of property. He got caught with $1.2 million in cash and $700,000 in a bank account, laundered by a crooked banker that turned out to be a DEA agent who worked on his case long term for like 9 months a year. Now Pinto saved that DEA agent's life. 2 stick-up boys were going to get him, and he warned him. He thought he was just a crooked banker. They became friends. They both became friends, and he got some stories about that. But like he was paying, he was had all kinds of different ties and all kinds of different things with the Philly mob, everything else. He's got some stories. I'm telling you, he's the guy who the cartel made him go to that ceremony where they sacrificed a goat, wipe it on his head to bless their shipment with the voodoo curse, so their shipment would make it through. He had to go sit through that. Man, 23 years old, and he had 2 what they call $1 million blocks in Philly. He's 23 years old, and he's a kingpin of 2 blocks. I mean, he was doing the dang thing. Okay, so he's got the stories, and I'm getting him to start a channel. I told him, you're starting it whether you like it or not. You have more and better stories than me. I have to pull them out of you, but you're starting a channel. So I'm going to get him to do a bunch of videos with me. Additionally, I'm making him start a channel. Like, this is a funny dude. Once he gets his rhythm with this, I told him I'll do all the thumbnails, all that other stuff. I said, I'll show you how to use it. So all I got to do is text it to you, then you can do it all from your phone. And he's doing it. He's doing it. Y'all gonna love him. Oh my God, man. Pinto's my brother, man. I spent 2 years at the Medium. Fat mother. I mean, for real. Yeah, I did. Spent 2 years over there. They wanted me to tell them it was Pinto. And it's a big old misunderstanding. And at SIS lieutenant, Pinto's Puerto Rican. He's my buddy, SIS lieutenant, Puerto Rican too. And he's a little prick. I don't like him. And he started threatening to put my mom in jail for putting money on Pinto's books so I could buy some mackerel. For $80, I was getting 120 mackerel. From commissary, that would have been like $140, $150. He's like, well, blah, blah, blah. He's got ties, blah, blah, blah. Ties with this, ties with that. And you put money on his books. I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. I want to get some mackerel for weightlifting. You know this. Tell me this. Tell me that. And I said, nah. The stuff you're talking about, it sounds familiar, but it wasn't him. It was some other Puerto Rican. He said, what do you look like? I said, I don't know. All you guys look alike to me. You're going to Texas. I said, oh, shoot. They knocked on my door every day for 87 days, told me I was going to Texas. I got sent to the freak show instead, next to the Medium, when I had camp points. And every time the SIS, any of them would pass me on the compound, they'd tell me something about one of my recent phone calls. They'd mess with me. It wasn't right. I was 23, and I just didn't want to tell on my best friend. So y'all tortured me for 5 years? I mean, screw y'all. That's stupid. Y'all are all stupid. And, heard that little Corky Romano-looking dork, this is what he looks like, and he's so smug. Works at Home Depot now. That suits him. Be a greeter. It's about all he can do. With that little look. They'll think, oh, that's nice. They gave the special person a job at the Home Depot, not knowing that's the ex-SIS lieutenant of the prison. Yeah, he looks special. Couldn't stand that dude. Piece of trash. Mentally tormented me for 5 years because I wouldn't tell him, because I said one smart thing back to him making all them threats. But anyway, if you like the video, press the like button. If not, it is 14 minutes and 50 seconds of your life in which you'll never get back. My buddy Pinto, I would say, not likely this week, but the week after that. All my interviews that I'm going to do on here are going to be on in person. I don't like that Zoom call stuff. I did it on Chad, Blood on the Razor Wire, and Chad's a great guy and all that. But I looked like I look, and my body looked like a stick figure. I looked like I was sickly. Told people I was powerlifting in there, and they was all like, "You powerlifting? What was you powerlifting? You look like, a white Ethiopian." Sorry if that isn't politically correct. I'm tired, I look like I was starving. That's a point, Yeah. And then they go on my channel, see me sitting here, and they're like, "Hey, he looks a little bigger." And then, I end up taking my shirt off, flexing on somebody like a douchebag before somebody believes that I'm not, that my pictures are made. I'm not that big, but I do lift and I do train obsessively. So there's that. Anyway, if you like the video, press the like button. Y'all have a good evening.